What if I told you there's a reason you dream bigger than most people around you, yet you're still trapped in the same old patterns? The same procrastination, the same missed opportunities, the same quiet frustration. What if I promised you that by staying with me through all 6 parts of this video, you'll uncover something no self-help guru, no trending motivational clip, no quick fix app ever gave you, the actual map to break free from the cycle? You'll discover the hidden reason you're stuck, the truth about your mind that Master Shi Heng Yi has spent years pointing toward, and, by the end, a step-by-step blueprint to turn your restless ambition into real, lasting change. This is the reward for those who don't give up halfway. But it only works if you stick around to see the whole picture. Trust me, you haven't heard it laid out like this before. We've all felt it. You see someone online, maybe even someone in your life, absolutely thriving. They're building something, chasing their dreams, living with purpose. You think, I've got ideas too. I've got ambition, maybe even more than they do. So why aren't you moving? You plan, you visualize, you swear this time will be different, but when the moment comes to act, something invisible stops you. The world calls it laziness. Maybe you've labeled yourself that a dozen times. But Shi Heng Yi would say laziness isn't the problem, it's not even real. It's a disguise, a name we give to something much deeper, a silent battle within your mind. Most people never dig past the surface. They think it's about needing more willpower, a stricter schedule, or just wanting it more. That's why you can watch hours of productivity hacks, read every Stoic quote, and still find yourself scrolling instead of starting. Society calls it a lack of discipline, Master Yi calls it something else entirely. Shi Heng Yi's teachings, rooted in mindfulness and martial arts, focus on one thing, facing the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. He talks about the inner shadow, not some mystical evil, but the hidden part of you that carries your fears, doubts, and old wounds. It's the voice that whispers, not yet, or you're not ready. Here's the kicker, the bigger your dreams, the stronger your inner shadow becomes. Why? Because every time you dare to imagine a life beyond where you are now, a new career, a healthier body, a bold move, your shadow senses a threat. Its job is to keep you safe, familiar, and small. So, when you set a big goal, your shadow gets to work. Suddenly, you're tired. You're distracted. You're second-guessing yourself. Every step feels heavier than it should. Your mind spins clever excuses, I'll start tomorrow, or I need to prepare more. Think about it, how many times have you promised yourself change, only to find yourself doing the exact opposite by the end of the day? This isn't failure. It's not weakness. It's a psychological defense mechanism. Your ambition and your inner shadow are locked in a silent tug-of-war, and until you understand what's really happening, the shadow will always win. You might think motivation is the fix. Watch an inspiring video, feel that spark, and maybe this time you'll push through. But here's the twist, motivation alone is like pouring fuel on a fire your shadow controls. Shi Heng Yi teaches that you can't outrun the parts of yourself you refuse to face. The more you pump yourself up without addressing the real resistance, the more defeated you feel when the spark fades. Every time you fall short, your shadow whispers, "See? I told you it wouldn't work." And the cycle continues. Let's break down what's actually happening so you can spot the pattern most people miss. You get inspired. You set a bold goal, start a project, transform your health, chase a dream. You're energized, maybe even tell a friend. But then the days pass. Doubt creeps in. Distractions pile up. You start bargaining with yourself, I'll do it when I'm less stressed, or after I learn one more thing. A week goes by. A month. Your motivation is gone, and you feel like you've failed again. You hunt for the next big tip, the next burst of hype, and the cycle repeats. Here's the real secret, it's not about motivation, talent, or even opportunity. It's about facing the part of you that's terrified of what change might bring. Master Yi says, what you do not see controls you. How many times have you said, "That's just who I am," or "I always screw this up"? That's your inner shadow writing your story, and you're calling it destiny. But destiny isn't fixed, it's just the name we give to patterns we haven't unraveled. The question most people avoid is this: if you're so ambitious, what are you truly afraid of? Failure? Or maybe success, and all the pressure it brings? Judgment? Standing out? The expectations that come when you finally step up? Your shadow isn't out to destroy you, it's trying to protect you from pain, rejection, or uncertainty. But it can't tell the difference between real danger and the discomfort of growth. Every time you listen to that fear, you shrink a little. And every time you shrink, your shadow grows stronger. Most people will click away now, chasing another quick fix, blaming their energy or their circumstances. But if you stay with me through all 6 parts, you'll get something different: a clear map to understand your shadow, tools to work with it, and a blueprint to turn your ambition into action, no matter how many times you've stumbled before. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how your inner shadow operates in your daily life and how to start uncovering it with practical steps. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you want more than just temporary inspiration, don't miss what's coming. The real reward is waiting, but only for those who see this journey through. You've made it this far, which means you're ready to go beyond the surface. We uncovered the hidden force holding you back, not laziness, not lack of willpower, but your inner shadow, as Master Shi Heng Yi would describe it. This shadow isn't your enemy, but it's clever. It's the part of you that clings to safety, whispering doubts and distractions to keep you from stepping into the unknown. Today, we're going to learn how to spot your shadow in action and take the first real steps to work with it, not against it. Stay with me, because this is where the journey gets real. Shi Heng Yi, through his teachings in martial arts and mindfulness, emphasizes one core idea: true change begins when you stop running from yourself. Your shadow isn't just a vague concept, it's the reason you feel stuck, even when you know what you want. Think about the last time you set out to change something big, maybe starting a new habit, launching a project, or even speaking your truth. Did you notice how fast your mind came up with reasons to wait? Suddenly, your phone needed hours of scrolling, or your desk had to be perfectly organized before you could start. That's not random. That's your shadow guarding its territory. Here's what most people miss: every time you avoid action, your shadow is offering you something in return. It's not just procrastination, it's a trade-off. Staying in your comfort zone means you avoid the risk of failing, the sting of judgment, or the weight of new responsibilities. Master E would say your shadow is like a loyal but overprotective friend, trying to shield you from pain. But that shield comes at a cost: your dreams, your growth, your potential. The longer you accept that trade, the harder it is to break free. Let's make this practical. Shi Heng Yi teaches that to change, you must first see. Your shadow thrives in the dark, in the parts of your mind you don't question. So, try this tonight: find a quiet moment, grab a notebook or just sit still, and ask yourself, what am I avoiding when I don't act? Don't force an answer, just listen. Maybe it's fear of looking foolish. Maybe it's a memory of a time you tried and failed, and the embarrassment still stings. Or maybe it's the fear that if you succeed, everything will change: your relationships, your responsibilities, how people see you. This isn't about beating yourself up. Most people try to shame themselves into action: I'm so lazy, I need to get it together. But Shi Heng Yi's approach is different. He teaches radical self-acceptance, not as an excuse to stay stuck, but as a way to disarm your shadow. When you stop fighting your fears and start understanding them, they lose their grip. Imagine sitting with that part of you that's scared and saying, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. That simple act of acknowledgement takes away the shadow's power to control you from the shadows. Here's the paradox: your shadow will always find ways to pull you back. It's why you can feel on fire one day and frozen the next. Every time you start moving toward a goal, your shadow might flood you with anxiety, guilt, or even exhaustion. It's not a sign you're weak, it's a sign you're human. Shi Heng Yi often says, the mind is a battlefield, but you choose the weapons. The weapon here isn't force or self-criticism, it's awareness. Start noticing when your shadow shows up. Does it hit when you're about to take a risk? When you're close to a breakthrough? Write it down. Name it. The moment you see it clearly, it stops being invisible. Most people never get this far. They keep chasing quick fixes, new apps, new routines, new motivational speeches, but they never ask what their resistance is really saying. Your shadow isn't just random noise, it's a story. Maybe it's a story of a time you were laughed at, or a moment you felt unworthy. Sometimes it's not even failure you fear, it's success. What if you become the person you dream of, and it changes everything? What if people expect more from you? What if you can't go back to the old you? These are the questions your shadow hides behind. This is where the real work begins. You don't need to fix everything today. Shi Heng Yi teaches that change starts with small, honest steps. Pick one tiny action, something so small your shadow can't argue with it. Send one message. Take a 5-minute walk. Write one sentence toward your goal. Then notice what happens. Does your mind fight back? Does it try to distract you or make you feel it's not enough? Don't judge it, just observe. Every time you act despite that resistance, you weaken your shadow's hold. Most will turn back here. Facing yourself is uncomfortable. It's slow. It's not as flashy as a motivational montage. But those who stay, who keep listening to their inner resistance and taking small steps, are the ones who start to break free. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to turn this awareness into a daily practice that your shadow can't sabotage. You'll get practical tools to make your ambition stronger than your fear. You're still here, and that alone sets you apart. By now, you've seen how your inner shadow, the hidden part of your mind Master Shi Heng Yi points to, keeps you stuck, not through laziness but through clever defenses. You've started to notice its tricks, the sudden exhaustion, the endless distractions, the excuses that feel so reasonable in the moment. But understanding your shadow isn't enough. Most people stop at insight, thinking knowledge alone will save them. It won't. Shi Heng Yi teaches that real change happens when you take what you've seen and turn it into movement. In this part, we'll start building the bridge from awareness to action. Stay with me, the tools you're about to get are what make the difference. Let's be honest, knowing why you're stuck doesn't automatically set you free. You've probably had moments of clarity before, maybe after a powerful book or a late-night realization, and yet, days later, you're back to the same old habits. Why? Because your shadow is patient. It waits for the spark of inspiration to fade, then pulls you back to what's comfortable. Shi Heng Yi's approach, grounded in mindfulness and discipline, is clear. You can't outthink your shadow, you have to outmaneuver it with small, deliberate actions that it can't block. Here's the first step: choose one tiny action that aligns with your ambition. Not a massive overhaul, not a life-changing leap, just something so small your shadow can't argue with it. Want to get healthier? Walk for 5 minutes. Want to start a project? Write one sentence. Want to speak your truth? Send one honest text. The key isn't the size of the action but the fact that you're doing it despite the resistance. Shi Heng Yi would say, every step forward is a rebellion against stagnation. Your shadow thrives on keeping you still, so any movement, no matter how small, is a victory. Now, here's where it gets powerful. You need to track these actions, not for perfection, but for honesty. Every evening, take 2 minutes to ask yourself, did I take my small step today? What did my shadow do to stop me? Did it make me feel tired, doubtful, or suddenly, too busy? Write it down, even if it's just a quick note on your phone. This does 2 things: it keeps you accountable, and it lets you see your shadow's patterns in real time. What gets seen gets weaker. Shi Heng Yi teaches that awareness without action is like a map you never follow, it's useless unless you move. Most people think they have to do this alone, but that's a trap. Your shadow loves isolation, it's where it's strongest. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about the power of community in martial arts and mindfulness practice. Find one person you trust, a friend, a mentor, even an online group, and share what you're working on. Say, I'm trying to take one small step every day toward my goal. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be honest. Speaking your truth out loud takes away your shadow's secrecy. Suddenly, what felt like a personal failing becomes a shared journey. You'll be amazed how many people relate, and that connection fuels your momentum. Here's the reality, your shadow won't go quietly. Some days, you'll feel the old resistance creep back, procrastination, self-doubt, or that familiar urge to start tomorrow. This is where most people give up. They miss one day, feel guilty, and let that guilt spiral into quitting. But Shi Heng Yi's philosophy is rooted in resilience. A missed step isn't failure, it's a chance to learn. When you slip, notice what your shadow said to pull you off track. Forgive yourself, then take the next step. Every time you return to your intention, you chip away at the shadow's power. This process, small actions, honest tracking, sharing your journey, starts to rewrite the story your shadow has been telling you. Instead of, I always fail, you'll start to see, I'm learning how to keep going. But this is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll dive into how to make these actions a daily habit that your shadow can't derail. You'll get practical tools to build momentum and outsmart the resistance that's held you back for years. The real transformation is coming, but only for those who stay the course. You're still here, and that means you're serious about breaking free. By now, you've seen how your inner shadow, Master Shi Heng Yi's term for the hidden fears and doubts in your mind, keeps you stuck, not through laziness but through subtle sabotage. You've started noticing its patterns and taking small, deliberate actions to move forward. But here's where the real shift happens, turning those actions into habits that your shadow can't derail. In this part, we'll build a system so simple and sturdy that even your toughest resistance can't stop it. Stay with me, these tools are what turn ambition into reality. Shi Heng Yi, through his practice of martial arts and mindfulness, teaches that lasting change isn't about grand gestures, it's about consistency in the small things. Your shadow thrives on disruption, it waits for you to aim too big, burn out, and quit. That's why the key is to make your actions so small and repeatable that your shadow doesn't see them as a threat. Think of it like training a muscle. One push-up a day doesn't intimidate your mind, but over time, it builds strength your shadow can't ignore. Let's make this concrete. Pick one daily action, something tiny that moves you toward your goal. Want to write a book? Write one sentence. Want to get fit? Do one stretch. Want to build a business? Send one email. The goal isn't to impress yourself, it's to bypass your shadow's defenses. Shi Heng Yi would say, discipline is not force, it's devotion to the small. Do this action at the same time every day, like brushing your teeth. Tie it to a routine you already have, after your morning coffee, before bed, or during a break. This anchors it in your life, making it harder for your shadow to negotiate you out of it. Here's the next piece, expect resistance. Your shadow doesn't give up easily. Some days, it'll hit you with excuses, I'm too tired, this isn't working, or I'll do it later. That's not failure, that's your shadow testing you. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the mind is a battlefield, but you can choose to stay calm. When resistance comes, don't fight it. Pause, breathe, and ask, what's my shadow protecting me from today? Maybe it's fear of failing, or fear of standing out. Name it, then do your small action anyway. Each time you act through resistance, you teach your shadow that it doesn't control you. Tracking is still crucial. Every evening, write down, did I do my action? What did my shadow say to stop me? This isn't about perfection, it's about seeing the truth. Some days, you'll miss. That's okay. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes returning over restarting. If you skip a day, don't spiral into guilt. Just note why it happened and start again tomorrow. This simple act of returning builds a quiet strength that your shadow can't match. Over time, you'll notice your excuses getting weaker, your actions more automatic. Don't do this alone. Your shadow loves secrecy, it thrives when you hide your struggles. Share your small habit with someone you trust, or even in an online community. Say, I'm committing to one small step every day. This isn't about bragging, it's about letting your truth live in the light. Shi Heng Yi often speaks of the power of connection in his teachings. When you share your journey, you weaken your shadow's grip. Others will cheer you on, share their own struggles, and suddenly you're not just fighting for yourself, you're part of something bigger. Here's the beauty of this approach, it's not about willpower. It's about strategy. By keeping your actions small, consistent, and honest, you're rewiring your mind without triggering your shadow's alarms. You're not trying to change everything overnight, you're building a foundation that grows stronger every day. Most people quit here because they want instant results. But those who stick with it, who trust the process, start to see their ambition take shape in ways they never thought possible. In the next part, we'll explore how to handle setbacks without losing your momentum. You'll get tools to navigate the days when your shadow feels louder than ever and learn how to turn those moments into breakthroughs. The reward is getting closer, but only for those who keep moving forward. You're still with me, and that's proof you're not like most people. You've seen how your inner shadow, Master Shi Heng Yi's term for the hidden fears and doubts steering your life, sabotages your progress. You've started taking small, consistent actions and tracking them to outsmart it. But here's the truth, your shadow doesn't vanish. It's persistent, and setbacks will come. Days when you feel like you're back at square one. In this part, we'll learn how to handle those moments without losing your momentum, turning setbacks into stepping stones. Stay with me, the final piece of this journey is almost here, and it's where everything comes together. Shi Heng Yi, through his teachings in martial arts and mindfulness, often says, the path is not a straight line, it's a spiral. You'll face days when your small habit feels pointless, when your shadow's voice is louder than your ambition. Maybe you miss a day, or 3. Maybe life throws stress your way, and suddenly your excuses feel stronger than ever. This is where most people quit. They see a setback as proof they've failed. But Shi Heng Yi would tell you a setback is just your shadow testing your resolve, it's not the end, it's part of the process. Here's how to handle it. First, expect setbacks. They're not a sign you're weak, they're a sign you're human. Your shadow will use anything, stress, fatigue, a bad day, to pull you back to what's familiar. When this happens, pause. Take a breath, like Shi Heng Yi teaches in his mindfulness practice, and ask, what's my shadow saying right now? Is it telling you you're not good enough? That you'll never change? Write it down. Naming the resistance takes away its power. It's like shining a light on a shadow, it can't hide anymore. Next, forgive yourself. Most people spiral into guilt when they slip up, and guilt is your shadow's favorite weapon. It whispers, see, you'll always mess up. But Shi Heng Yi's philosophy is clear, self-compassion is stronger than self-criticism. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Say, I'm human, I slipped, and I'm coming back. Then do your small action again, write that sentence, take that walk, send that email. Every time you return, you prove to your shadow that it doesn't get the final word. Here's a practical tool, create a return ritual. When you feel your shadow pulling you back, have a go-to action that resets you. Maybe it's a 5-minute meditation, a walk outside, or even a simple phrase you repeat, like, I choose to keep going. Shi Heng Yi teaches that rituals ground us, they remind us who we're becoming. This ritual doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to pull you out of the spiral and back to your path. Try it this week, when you feel stuck, do your ritual, then take your small step. Watch how it shifts your energy. Community is still key. Your shadow loves to isolate you, making you feel like you're the only one struggling. Share your setbacks with someone you trust or in an online group. Say, I missed a few days, but I'm starting again. You'll be surprised how many people relate. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that connection strengthens discipline. When you share your journey, you're not just accountable to yourself, you're part of a bigger story. That support makes your shadow's voice quieter and your actions louder. Here's the deeper truth: every setback you overcome makes you stronger. Each time you return to your small habit after a slip, you're not just building a routine, you're building resilience. Shi Heng Yi says, the warrior is not the one who never falls, but the one who rises every time. Your shadow expects you to quit, but every time you keep going, you rewrite the story it's been telling you. You're not someone who always fails, you're someone who keeps choosing to move forward. Most people give up here, thinking setbacks mean they're not cut out for change. But you're different, you're still here, learning how to work with your mind, not against it. In the final part, we'll tie it all together with a clear, practical blueprint to turn your ambition into unstoppable momentum. You'll get the exact steps to make your small actions grow into a life you're proud of, no matter how strong your shadow used to be. The reward is waiting, and it's bigger than you think. You've made it to the end, and that alone makes you rare. Most people would have clicked away by now, chasing another quick fix or distraction. But you've faced your inner shadow, the hidden force Master Shi Heng Yi describes that turns ambition into resistance. You've learned to spot its tricks, take small actions, track your progress, and handle setbacks with resilience. Now, in this final part, you'll get the blueprint to turn your self-awareness into unstoppable momentum. This is the reward, a clear, practical path to become the person you've always known you could be. Let's finish this journey together. Shi Heng Yi teaches that transformation isn't a one-time event, it's a way of living. Your shadow will always be there, whispering doubts or offering comfort to keep you small. But you now know it's not your enemy, it's just a part of you trying to protect you. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who change is simple: the ones who change keep moving, even when it's hard. This blueprint, rooted in Shi Heng Yi's principles of mindfulness and discipline, is your guide to making that movement a way of life. Here's the blueprint in action: 5 steps to turn your ambition into reality. Step 1: name your shadow. Every week, sit down and write what your resistance is protecting you from. Is it fear of failure, judgment, or the weight of success? Don't judge it, just see it clearly. This keeps your shadow visible, so it can't control you from the dark. Step 2: choose one small daily action. Not a giant leap, but something so small it's undeniable: a 5-minute walk, one email, one honest conversation. Do it every day, no excuses. Step 3: track your progress with honesty. Each evening, write down: did I do my action? What did my shadow say to stop me? This isn't about perfection, it's about seeing your patterns. Over time, you'll watch your resistance weaken and your consistency grow. Step 4: share your journey. Tell one person, a friend, a mentor, or an online community, what you're working on. Even if it feels small, speaking it out loud makes it real and strips your shadow of its secrecy. Step 5: expect setbacks, but always return. When you slip, don't spiral into shame. Use your return ritual: a breath, a walk, a mantra, and start again. Every return makes you stronger. Do this for 21 days. Why 21? It's not magic, it's just enough time to see your shadow's grip loosen and your confidence grow. You'll notice your lazy days fade, not because you're forcing yourself, but because you're building trust in yourself. Shi Heng Yi says, the mind follows what the body does. Each small action proves to your shadow that you're not the person who gives up anymore. This isn't hype, it's how real people, with real struggles, rewrite their lives. Most people never get here. They watch half a video, save another tip, and wait for a perfect moment that never comes. But you? You've proven you want truth over comfort. Shi Heng Yi believes that those who face themselves become the rarest kind of person. They stop living by accident and start living with intention. The world needs more people like that. The world needs you, awake, honest, and moving forward. Here's your final challenge: share in the comments what your shadow's been telling you, or what small action you'll start today. Support someone else who's shared theirs. Let's build a space where honesty fuels transformation, not just motivation. If this series hit home, if you're ready to go beyond quick fixes and build a life you're proud of, hit subscribe and join this journey for real. Master Shi Heng Yi's teachings show us that change starts with one step, taken with awareness. You've already taken steps most never will. Your new story starts now. Don't let it be written by your shadow. Take your small action today, track it, share it, and keep going. You're not just dreaming anymore, you're building. Thank you for staying to the end. This is where your transformation begins.